Hi, Lemons. Hi, Justin. Hi, Khaleesi. Hi, Kylie. Hi, Danielle. Hi, Lauren. Happy Monday. Hi, Tater Tot. Hi, Chance. Thanks for the hand hearts. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Monday. Hi, Halls. Hi, Glossette. I don't take requests until I ask you to write their requests, Glossette. They get lost in the chat. Hi, Catherine. Hi, Michael. Thank you so much. Hi, Michelle. Hi, April. Thanks, Michelle. Hi, Rich. Hi, Jamie. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Monday. No, Hunter, that one was at 7 p.m. This is the live. Like the normal nighttime live. The premiere was on YT at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks, Jennifer. All right, you guys feel free to... Hi, Michelle. Hi, Tequila. Feel free to write your requests in the chat in all capital letters, and I will write them down, and we will vote for the first story. Okay, Kim, no problem. Yeah, you don't ever have to vote. Just sit back and relax. Thank you, Deborah. Thanks, Michelle. Hi, Pippa. Uh-oh, somebody's comment got filtered. Not sure who it was. And I don't have the filters on, so when TikTok does it themselves, they usually let you know. Welcome in, Hunter. But don't worry, I'm still going to read the new story tonight, Hunter, so you'll still get to hear it. Hi, Seashell. Good morning, Queen. Thank you, Robin. Thanks for the blooming ribbons. That's so pretty. Thank you, Queen of Hearts and Justin, for the populars. Those are so pretty, Robin. Thank you. Sorry I missed the first one. I was sharing it out. Thank you so much. I love those. I love how it feels. I love the ones that fill the whole screen, you know? Thanks, Michelle. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, I figured I'd want to, because people like the human element a lot, so I thought I'd switch it up and not do a cryptid this week. Gotta space out the cryptids, you know? Gotcha, Glossette. Thank you. Hi, Laura. I'm good. How are you? Hello, Tennessee Ridge Runner. Hi, Sherry. Hi, First Light. Kim. Thank you, Sam. How are you, cutie? Welcome in. Speedy, thank you for the popular. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Monday. And if you are new here, welcome in. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I'm here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. I do premiere new stories every week on Mondays, which is today, at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live on my YT channel. And thank you to those of you who are able to make it to the story premiere. And don't worry, I will be reading it tonight. I usually wait to read the new story until after midnight, so we get everybody a chance to get in here, because it's busiest after midnight and people get sad if I read it too early. Hi, Lonnie. Also, my neighbor that you guys, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with, that I am not a fan of, he is chosen to blast like boomer rock at the top of his lungs, or at the top of his speakers on his back patio right now. And so I can hear it through my window with it closed. Hopefully you guys can't. Hopefully Shirley is doing her job tonight and canceling it out, but it is extremely loud. And it is after 10 o'clock here on a Monday. He is literally, like, if you had a checklist for everything annoying neighbors do, this man does it. Thank you. But I'm talking like just really the corniest, cringiest songs you could imagine from like the late 70s, early 80s. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like, not even the good music. Like the ones that like maybe were one-hit wonder songs, or like just really, he's the worst. But the music doesn't make him the worst. What makes him the worst is the fact that he poisoned my raccoons. Can't stand him. Anyway. Yes, there you go, Michelle. There you go. Like Jimmy Buffett almost, but like not Jimmy Buffett. Like the obscure, cringy songs that like no one, I don't know. Yes, Lonnie, I don't even want to talk about it, but this guy is on my shit list. Yeah, Robin, there probably is a noise ordinance, but I didn't have time to call the police and deal with it because I had to start my show. And he's so annoying. And I think the noise ordinance starts at 10. Yeah, for sure, Sherry. He can go straight to hell. And I told them that we've had verbal altercations where I like scared his wife and she ran inside and got him, which is really funny. But I definitely told them what I thought about how they poisoned my raccoons. Pissed. Yep. So yeah, we are not fans of that guy, and he's lucky that I'm high vibration. That's all I'm gonna say. Because unhealed me, lower vibration Debbie, 25-year-old Devin, he's lucky that I'm not that girl anymore. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyway, feel free to write your requests in the chat in all capital letters. I will write them down and we will vote. Welcome to the porch. Sit back, relax, watch the shooting stars, and happy Monday. Hi, Henry. No, Robin, I was like Lindbergh cheese in his fucking leaf blower that he's obsessed with. That's what I was. Oh my God, Sherry, thanks. That's one of my favorite gifts. Thank you for helping me with my gallery. Oh my God, I love the meteor shower. Thank you. Hi, Eric. Welcome in. Hi, Protecting Peace. And welcome in, everybody. If you're new here, my name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell, did you guys hear that clicky pen? And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system. Oh my gosh, hi Deborah. I'm so sorry. Hi. Hi Deborah. I'm sorry. Hi cutie. maybe you always, I bet you come in when I'm writing down the story requests, because I miss a lot of Haze during the story requests, because I'm like writing in my little notebook. What's Lava Chicken? Beefy, why are you writing that in caps? That's not a story name. And I'm good. How are you, Deborah? Happy Monday. You guys, I really cannot handle this saxophone music. So much saxophone. Like, oh my God. Like, this genre specifically makes me like... You guys know what I'm talking about. Like, you know the intro music to like Saturday Night Live? Like, oh my God. It's off. Like, couldn't it be better music? You know what I mean? Like, God, because it's like jazzy, so it's like, and there's like no rhythm to it. It's just horrible I'm sorry, it's terrible. Sorry to anybody who really likes music with no beat, but I don't. I can't just listen to brass squawking for 5 hours. Like, my God. Oh, I cannot stand it either, Sherry. And I like almost all music. I literally listen to swing music from the 40s, but 80s and like 70s to 90s saxophone trend, that whole era, I cannot stand it. I don't know why. I'm so glad you guys can't hear it, but I can hear it really loudly. It's like in my ear, and it's so bad. Robin. Wouldn't that be so funny? They get like 300 phone calls about his noise. It gets on my nerves too, Michelle. And I also get very overstimulated by noises that are like repetitive like that. I am on the spectrum. I'm ADHD extremely, and I'm very overstimulated by noise. And when it's a repetitive noise, it like that would be the way to torture me. If you were gonna like kidnap me and torture me, like playing repetitive noises, especially like maybe a saxophone. Maybe a saxophone would literally like, I can't. And like, I don't mean overstimulated, like I can't go to concerts, loud concerts, like it's different. It's like, I don't even know how to explain it. But if you're ADHD, you get it, right? The overstimulation on the sound is a big problem for me. You know when like 3 people are trying to talk to you at the same time? Same thing. Or when a little kid's like, Auntie. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, it's a thing. Audio overstimulation. Yeah, it's so bad. Yeah, and I hate it, and I feel bad, but I cannot. And so this guy is really like I would rather have him blasting rap right now than whatever the hell he's listening to. It's like, my God. Pick some better music, bro. Anyway, I'll be right back with the first poll. Tequila said Devin's next spooky story, the day the music died. My kid voice, yeah. You like that, Sam? Okay, you guys. I'm going to set up the first poll, and if you guys could do me a big favor and hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost, and that puts my live onto your friends' FYPs. And it helps us grow this beautiful porch. And yeah, he probably is listening because he also was creepy perv, low-key when I first moved here, tried to like skis on me. And then once he realized I couldn't stand him, and that I'm woke or whatever. Like he like, once he realized I was like feeding the animals and stuff, he was like, I was like, I hate you. Like, we're enemies. I will literally like, how dare you touch my raccoons? Like, it's on. And I even pulled the like North Carolina hood rat out, and I was like, I dare you to do it again. Do it again. Because they shot BBs at my raccoons over my fence, and I flipped out. So yeah, he sucks ass. Exactly, Michelle. Yep. I'm definitely not a pick me girl. I'm like, please leave me alone. I'm the opposite of a pick me girl. I'm like, leave me the f*** alone, girl. I know, Kim. It's because, to be honest with you, this property, I don't own the property. So if I did, it'd be a really different story. But I don't need to be homeless. So he's not going to get to me that, like, that's the thing is, it's not worth it. It's not going to bring back my raccoons. Plus, I can call the elements. Guess what? Right after he poisoned my raccoons, it's crazy, but the piping system from his 1950s built house couldn't handle the water pressure anymore, and exploded and flooded his backyard. And it was like a $20,000 project to have the pipes redone and all his plumbing. So, you know, don't piss off an elemental witch. Don't piss off a witch you can call water. Just saying. Whoopsie. Yep. Anyway, so I'll be right back. Yeah, I love that for him too, Lady Rose. Love that journey for him. And the best part is he would never in 5 million years ever even think that it would be anything but just, aged pipes. But it did happen 2 weeks after he poisoned my raccoons. So, you know. Would you look at that? Exactly. Would you look at that? Oops. That'll do it. That'll do it. All right. Be right back with the first poll so we can vote. Like, you don't think Mother Nature's going to have my back when I'm literally feeding her beloved wildlife? Like, dude, wrong bitch. You picked the wrong witch. Yeah, Kim, and you don't understand. These raccoons were babies. Like, I had these these are like my backyard raccoons for like 5 years. I like cried about it. Like, I knew the difference between them and their personality. Like, yeah, like not okay with that. The same way I know my chipmunks. And he's like one of those people that like hates people like that. He used to work, he's like a retired factory worker. He probably calls me a dumb lib or something, and he like hates animals and like hates anybody that likes nature. Do you know what I mean? He's like that guy. And he sucks. And he's obsessed with his leaf blower, and it's diesel. All right, you guys. The first poll is ready. Hi, Rochelle. Oh, nothing, Lola. You just missed me talking shit about my neighbor for 15 minutes. Anyway, here we go. We have The Last Summer Carnival, The Drowned Bell, Station 109, Man in the Red Coat, and the Flatwoods Monster. And Station 109, just to clarify, is a reworking of an Are You Afraid of the Dark episode. You can vote in the blue box in the top left-hand corner, and you can vote up to 50 times, and you can vote for more than one story. Hi, Dawn. I know, right, Michelle? I was thinking the same thing when I was like, damn, these are hard choices today. Hi, Peter. Hi, Misty. Welcome back, Michelle. I'm glad you came back. Hi, Leslie. Who's it gonna be, you guys? Oh, you like it? Thanks, Leslie. You're so sweet. Michelle. I love you, Michelle. You're so cute. Thank you, Lauren, for the smile latte. All right, who's it gonna be? Station 109's in the lead. Oh. The winner is Station 109. Wait, what? You went shopping with Daisy? Yay, Rochelle, did you tell her I sent you? Was she so happy? God, I love her. Isn't she the sweetest thing? Just love her. I just love her. I'm so glad. Isn't she just a doll? I adore her so much. Good, yeah. I just want her to know that, because I told her I'd be sending a bunch of my friends, and I just want her to know which one of you guys that come in are. Oh, you did? Yay! I can't wait to see them. Did she take you to like where the ones that are already made, or did you make them? Because I buy them both. Like I buy the rings that are already made all the time, and then if I can't find one I like, I'll be like, maybe we could just DIY this. All right, Station 109 is the winner. I'm so glad you shopped with her. The ones already made, yeah. Those are, a lot of mine are that way. The only ones I didn't like that are like my meteorite rings and like a few others that were like kind of random. Do you know what I mean? It's huge. And Rochelle, that's only one mall. Did she tell you that there's 3? 3 crystal malls. It's insane. Hi, Dusty. It's amazing. And like she'll take you to any of the stuff. It's not just crystals. Like she'll take you to like wood carvings, place, like anything you want to look at. It's so cute. I'm so happy you shopped with her. I love her so much. Oh my God, you found a serious meteorite one already made? Oh, that's amazing. I can't wait to see it. Do you create crystal jewelry, Melody? Oh my God. I'm going to give you a follow right now. I love crystal jewelry. You're in West Virginia? Oh my gosh. The new story that premieres tonight is in West Virginia. And I love crystals too. I am a crystal witch. So I'm obsessed with them. I literally have them everywhere. Like everywhere. Like my bracelets are held up by a like yellow calcite cylinder. Like everything I have is made out of crystals. You do too, yeah. I was like, my lamps are crystals, like literally. They're my favorite thing in the world. Oh, because you got a big one. Yep. She laughs. She makes fun of me because she'll look at things. She goes, "No, too small for you. You like big." But I don't like the really big. I just like what fine jewelers consider big. Does that make sense? I'm not talking, I don't need it to take over my whole finger, but I do like a large stone. I like a nice large stone, right? Yep. I want it to be nice. I just, and what's funny is I have insanely small fingers and hands. So like you would think like someone with big hands would want larger stone, but like, so I feel like they look even bigger on my hands, but I don't care. Like I wear a 5.5 ring, which is ridiculously small for someone who is 5'8". They had beautiful moldavite. Yeah, moldavite's so pretty. I love it. The color and everything, but I don't, the vibration is not right for me. I don't own any moldavite. Yeah, very tiny paws, right, Kim? Very tiny paws. I do. And my hands are tiny too, not just my fingers. Like for how tall, like I wear almost a size 10 shoe, like it depends on the type of shoe, but then my hands are so small. First light, that's exactly right. You didn't like what it did to your life. Yep. Same thing, Michelle. Yep. I do not mess with moldavite. My bangle size, ooh, I don't know. How do I find out? Do I just measure my wrist? That's a good question. I need to find out. Oh yeah, yep. Peridot is, oh God, I love peridot. Love, 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 love peridot. You know what else you would really like? Green garnet. Look it up. It's I'm blanking on how to spell it. It's an odd spelling of what it's called, but green garnet is super pretty. Hello, Tony. Tony, you left early and I forgot to tell you my cheese story, but I didn't forget. Oh, you fell asleep? Good. I'm so glad. But I didn't tell the cheese story, so I'll tell it tonight. All right, you guys, I'll be right back with Station 109. I'm so glad you shopped with Daisy. Yay. AJ, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the porch. And while I'm setting up the next story, if you guys could do me a big favor, could you hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner? And then there's a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs. And it helps us grow our beautiful porch. And Tennessee, thank you for the paper crane. Thank you, First Light. Hi, Maureen. Thank God my neighbor turned off his music. Finally. Justin, you're exactly right. I don't know if they'd be able to find my live. They probably don't even have TikTok. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of Station 109. Hi, mic drop. Trisha, I've missed you so much. Hi. Tonight, we tune into a broadcast that transcends time and space. A story that explores the haunting depths of an abandoned radio station. Imagine stumbling upon a radio frequency that leads you into a realm of darkness, where not all signals are safe and not all stories end well. This story is about an abandoned radio station, a cursed frequency, and two friends named Jamie and Roy, who discover the chilling secrets of a cursed frequency that pulled them into a world of terror. So dim the lights, grab a blanket, and settle in for the spooky journey into the unknown. This is the tale of Station 109.1. The night it began was thick with storm clouds, the kind that press low against the earth and make even familiar places feel enclosed. Thank you, Trisha. Rain latched against the windows in uneven bursts, and wind moved through the trees with enough force to make the house groan. It was the sort of night that discouraged travel. Jamie and Roy had not seen each other in years. They weren't teenagers chasing adrenaline or novelty anymore. They were middle-aged men with careers behind them, regrets they rarely discussed, and the shared history of having once been closer than life had allowed them to remain. Time had softened their edges, but had not erased their instincts for curiosity, especially when it came wrapped in nostalgia. Thank you, Trisha. They found themselves together again in Jamie's basement. a space untouched by renovation or modern taste. The room was cluttered with artifacts from earlier decades, boxes of vinyl records, outdated recording equipment, tangled cables. It had been a room built for listening. The storm outside intensified as the evening wore on, isolating the house further from the world beyond it. The power kept flickering, but it held, and the basement lights hummed faintly, casting long shadows. And that was when they saw the radio. It was not a modern device, it was heavy, analog. Its surface bore scratches from years of handling, its knobs worn smooth from countless adjustments. It had once belonged to someone who spent hours searching for something on the airwaves, though what that something was had been lost to time. When they powered on the radio, it behaved exactly as expected at first. Static filled the room, broken occasionally by fragments of music or distant talk shows bleeding in from neighboring frequencies. Nothing remarkable. Good night, Misty. Aw, Sherry, I hope you feel better. There was nothing threatening until the dial reached 109.1. The sound that emerged was not music. It wasn't silence either. It was a strained transmission, layered with interference, carrying the unmistakable cadence of a human voice. The signal wavered, but it didn't fade. It clung to the frequency as though it was anchored there. Almost immediately, the atmosphere in the room changed. The temperature dropped several degrees. The basement lights flickered again, longer this time, and dust stirred in the air, but nothing had moved. The voice on the radio did not introduce itself, and it did not identify a station or location. It spoke only of danger, of warning, of a frequency that should not be heard. There was a panic in its rhythm, as if it had been repeating the same message for far too long. At first, they dismissed it. Old broadcasts had a way of sounding dramatic. Experimental radio was full of unsettling performances. But as the minutes passed, the transmission began to feel less like a recording and more like a plea. The storm outside grew louder, and the transmission began to shift, moving away from warnings and into history. Station 109.1, the voice explained, had once been a legitimate broadcast. A regional station run by a DJ known for his obsession with pushing boundaries. He experimented constantly, convinced that radio waves could carry more than just sound. That they could carry presence, emotion, influence. Late night listeners became devoted. They reported unusual experiences, dreams that felt guided, voices that seemed to know them. sensations of being drawn somewhere just beyond consciousness. Some listeners drove long distances without even remembering why. Others simply stopped answering their phones, and then disappearances followed. The DJ himself vanished after a final broadcast, and the station shut down soon after. But the frequency never went silent. It continued broadcasting, sporadically, unpredictably, as if something remained behind it. Thank you, Holly. Thank you, Misbehavin'. As the history unfolded, the basement no longer felt like a contained space. Shadows began stretching unnaturally along the walls, and the radio began to hum, a vibration that they could feel through the concrete floor. The transmission grew more erratic, and voices layered over one another. And then the darkness and the shadows themselves began to form shapes, vague outlines that hinted at human form, without ever resolving into something fully recognizable. It was no longer clear whether the sounds were coming from the radio or from the room itself. And these were not ghosts in the traditional sense. They were impressions, echoes, residual presence bound to the frequency that had claimed them. Thank you, Spiker Mom. Listeners who had stayed too long, who had answered the call when they should have turned away. The radio's casing rattled violently, and the guys realized the only way to stop it was to sever the connection completely. When the radio was destroyed, the effect was immediate. The sound cut off mid-vibration, leaving behind a silence so complete it rang in their ears. The shadows collapsed inward, dissolving into nothing. Thank you, Trisha. And the pressure in the room released all at once. Eventually, the storm outside began to ease, and the rain tapered off into something manageable. The basement lights stabilized, and all that remained was the broken radio on the floor, and the lingering sense that something had narrowly been avoided. Station 109.1 was a frequency that never truly disappeared. And the tale of Station 109 serves as a warning. Because somewhere between static and silence, there might be somebody listening back. And that's the tale of Station 109.1, which is a reworking of an Are You Afraid of the Dark story. Welcome in, everybody. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And no, Amy, the Are You Afraid of the Dark reworkings are exclusive to the lives. I am here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. I do write and record all these stories myself. And you can find them on a Bedtime Stories playlist on my YT channel, as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. Just look for Porch Lore and you will find me. Hi, Skrilla. Everybody wish Skrilla a happy birthday. It's his birthday. Michelle. Oh my God. I love it. It's so funny. Happy birthday, Skrilla. The Porch Pals, we all love you. Thanks for making us laugh all the time. Oh yeah, folding the Chris. I forgot about that. Ooh, you're right. Creepy. I love how you're like, totally different plot, but hear me out. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm going to set up the next poll and I'll be right back and we can vote. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Rich. Thanks, Missy. Thank you, Wanderlust. Hi, Sparkle Tree. Oh my God, Trisha, that's so cute. Thank you, Trisha. Those are so cute. Okay, guys, the next poll is ready. We have the Lep Castle. Hi, Janae. We have Lep Castle, Drowned Bell, the Salem Time Slip, Lubbock Lights. Spiker Mom, thanks for the seahorse. Seahorse, see hell. Seahorses, I love them. Thank you, Mace, for the hanging lights. Okay, Lubbock Lights and then the Magnolia House. And you can vote in the blue box in the top left-hand corner. And we have Lep Castle, the Drowned Bell, the Salem Time Slip, Lubbock Lights, and the Magnolia House. Thank you. What was that? Thank you, Wanderlust Soccer. That was cute. All right, we have the Lep Castle, the Drowned Bell, the Salem Time Slip, the Lubbock Lights, and the Magnolia House. And you can vote in the blue box in the top left-hand corner of the screen. Hi, Jade. Oh, it was a hologram card. That makes sense. Thank you, Trisha, for the window. All right, guys, the winner is the Drowned Bell. All right, you guys, the winner is the Drowned Bell. And if you're new here, welcome in. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore, and I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I am here every single night from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. I do write and record all of these stories myself, so they are original content. And they are available on my YT channel as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. Just look for Porch Lore and you will find me. I also premiere a new story every Monday, which is today, live on my YT channel at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you to everyone who made it to the premiere. And I always read the new story after midnight. So I will be reading the new story after midnight because that is when the room is the fullest and less people complain about missing it that way. So I will be reading it in about an hour. And if anybody comes in and asks, feel free to pass that information on. Aw, thank you, Skrilla. Also, if you haven't yet, be sure to wish Skrilla a happy birthday. He's turning 25 today. So happy birthday to Skrilla. Oh, thanks, Julie. Yeah, he's just a baby. He's just a baby. Skrilla's a baby. Yeah, Jane, 25. He's a youngin'. But so are a few of the others in here. We got a few youngies in here. The youngest we have in here is 13, and she's cool. She's cool as hell. Fiona, are you in here? Because I know you, Jade. He's just a baby. I'm honored when the tween girls come in here because tween girls are mean and scary and they like me and I feel very cool about it. I'm not gonna lie. There's like 3 of them that come in here and it makes me feel very cool. Hi, Leo. Hi, Leo. I miss ya. I know, Fiona's 13, but she hangs in the chat like she's an old soul. Really, Paul? Thanks. And she's very cute, and like she was very excited about possibly getting her first kiss, and she was in the chat talking about it to us. And then they went on spring break, and she's just left us hanging. And I'm like, hello. Can we get an update on the first smooch here? Hello. So yeah, she's adorable. Lily, it didn't display it. The vocal bear. I think it doesn't display ones that go on my head. I think if it's one that's supposed to go on my face or my head, they show up really small because it tries to find a face in the picture. I think that's what's happening. And it's dumb. They really do fold in the Chris. They're just so funny and cute. It's true. Tween girls, man, they're just magic. And they're so funny and sassy. And it's sad because after that age, we lose that. And we start to lessen ourselves and conform. And, but like tween year girls, man, they're something else. They are something else. Oh, Wanderlust, who said that? You were? Oh my God, you were asking her, Raquel? What'd she say? She's probably like, no, I have no idea who that is. When I was 13, my life was hell too, Robin. Same. Yeah, Tracy, they are mean. I know because I was one. I spit venom at that age. Really, Nikki? That's adorable. Oh my God, she's having her B-Day party at your house this Saturday. Please send help. I would love to help, Tracy. That would be so fun. Tween girls are so fun. Holly, I've heard that too. I never stopped being that 16-year-old girl, unfortunately. I have stayed her for sure. Yeah, Kim, me neither. But still, they're very cute and fun. But it's definitely a very... Jade says, I love baby showers, weddings, and funerals. Cool, Jade. Super random, but cool, Jade. That's why I love you so much, Jade. I love that you're a weirdo. That's my favorite part about you. Literally. Oh, same, Michelle. Same. I know. Jade's like a porch pillar. Because in case you guys haven't noticed, I'm also super weird. So that's why Jade and I immediately clicked, because we're weird. Anton, thank you so much. That's such a compliment. You're so sweet and kind. I really appreciate you coming every night. Thanks for being here again. Yeah, Jade's also in every story. Ah. What happened to Jade's foot? I'll tell you. I'm an energy witch, so like, you know how energy works, like you can like manifesting and like saying words or spells, and you can say things and they happen, that kind of thing. So we read Stillness in the Cedars over and over again in my siren spell casting voice that I have, and in the story I step on Jade's foot and ankle and I hurt her. Okay, so I've read that regularly for probably 6 months now, and she has had terrible pain in her foot and ankle, and now she has to get a peg leg. My bad. Yeah, and her real dad has a parrot, so it's gonna work. It's totally it's a vibe. She's gonna put the parrot on her shoulder, walk around with her peg leg along the coast of Portland, along the coast of Washington and Oregon, and people are gonna be like, "Did you see that lady?" She's gonna become folklore because of me. So you're welcome, Jade. You're welcome. Next story, the pirate featuring Jade. Oh my god. Hook hand. Okay, so in the next story, I'll take out her hand. You know the story Dream Machine? It's actually about me. I'm just kidding. Whatever I write happens. Mace. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the drowned bell. Thank you, Janae. Thank you, Lorna. Also, thank you to those of you who are reposting and tapping. Thank you. Oh, I love jalapenos. I've always been fascinated by places erased from maps. Whole towns that vanished underwater, their names barely clinging to memory. And Stillwater, Georgia was one of them. Most people don't even know the town existed before the dam went up in 1947. It had been a small mountain community, a church, a general store, a schoolhouse, and a scattering of white clapboard houses perched above a slow-moving river. Thank you, Amy. When the government bought up the land to create the Stillwater Reservoir, they gave the residents 3 weeks to move out before they flooded the valley. Some left quietly. Others refused to go until the water crept to their doorsteps. And a few never made it out at all. I had been researching southern displacement for a project when I first heard of Stillwater. Thank you, Janae. A farmer I interviewed in Hall County told me about it in a way that made my skin crawl. Thanks, Jazz. How divers still claim to see the town beneath the surface, perfectly preserved in silt. How fishermen heard a church bell toll underwater before storms. He said that if you were on the reservoir, you might see lights moving where the streets used to be. Lanterns drifting beneath the waves, as if the old residents still carried them through the dark. It sounded like the kind of story that locals tell to keep their kids away from dangerous water. But something about it stuck with me. So, when my department offered to fund field research on a cultural after effects of dam projects, I knew exactly where I wanted to go. It was early autumn when I arrived at Stillwater Lake. The reservoir stretched out like glass between the hills, reflecting the smoky blue of the sky. Pine trees lined the shore, their roots curling down into red clay. And you could almost forget there was anything beneath that calm surface. Almost. Thank you, Matt. Thanks for helping me with my gallery. The town of Stillwater lay about 60 feet below where I stood, or what remained of it. Old maps showed the church in the center of town, its bell tower the tallest structure. When the water was low, locals said the tip of the steeple still broke the surface, though no one had been allowed to boat out that far in decades. I rented a small cabin near the southern bank to use as my base of operations. The ranger station had given me permission to explore the surrounding area, but not go into the restricted zone near the old town site. There had been drownings, divers who never resurfaced, their equipment later found on the lake floor. It didn't take long for the stories to start. An elderly woman named Nora, who ran the tiny grocery down the road, told me that the bell still rang some nights. She'd grown up in the area, and her grandmother had been a child when the flood came. She said people used to gather on the ridge to watch the water rise, and that one man, the preacher, refused to leave the church. Thank you, Jess. He believed the valley's drowning was a punishment from God, and he stayed in the bell tower until the last possible moment. When the water reached his knees, the bell began to toll, slow and steady, echoing across the hills. It stopped only when the roof disappeared beneath the flood. Now, every time the bell rang under the water, the old folks whispered that another storm was coming. On the fifth night, the sky broke open. It began with a low growl that rolled through the mountains, followed by a curtain of rain so heavy it blurred the world into streaks of gray. Lightning flashed over the lake, illuminating the trees into harsh white light. The wind off the water howled like something alive. The power went out just after sunset. I sat by the window with a lantern, watching waves slam against the shore. My truck was parked half a mile up the road, and for a moment, I considered trying to run to it. Then I saw something out on the lake. At first, I thought it was lightning reflecting on the water, but it wasn't. It was steady, pulsing faintly like a lantern's flame. One light became two, then three, moving in a slow, deliberate pattern. My chest tightened. The water level had dropped over the past week because of maintenance on the dam, exposing a stretch of cracked red mud along the shoreline. Beyond it, in the storm's chaos, I thought I saw something rising out of the lake. the jagged silhouette of a steeple, slick with rain. It was the bell tower. I don't even remember deciding to go. I just grabbed my raincoat, flashlight, and field recorder, and I stepped into the storm. The wind tore at me as I made my way down the slope. Mud sucked at my boots, the rain stinging at my face. Every few seconds, lightning split the sky, and each time I saw it more clearly. The church was there. The steeple jutted out of the lake like a broken tooth. Its wood blackened and warped. The rest of the structure seemed half buried in the shallows, the water lapping just below the roofline. The lights I had seen were clustered near the church steps, pale orbs gliding just above the surface, flickering faintly. I thought at first they must be reflections from boats or houses across the shore. But there were none that close. These were moving on their own. Then, beneath the roar of the wind and the rain, I heard it. A bell. The sound was deep and resonant, too heavy for the storm to drown out. It rolled through the valley, each toll echoing off the cliffs. The water around the steeple rippled with every strike. I remember thinking that the bell couldn't possibly be ringing. It was submerged, rusted, sealed in decades of silt. Yet there it was, tolling beneath the storm. I edged closer, my boots sinking into the muck. Lightning flashed again, and for an instant, I saw movement near the steeple's base. Figures, half in and half out of the water. Their shapes were distorted by rain, their faces lost to shadow, but I could see the shimmer of wet fabric. They moved with an unnatural grace. And then they turned toward me. The nearest one began to wade forward, and I stumbled back, slipping in the mud. My inadequate flashlight flickered, cutting across their faces, and I saw water where their eyes should have been. They came on in silence, feet never fully breaking the surface. Panic took over, and I ran. The slope was steeper than I remembered, and the mud was giving way beneath me. I scrambled toward the ridge, every breath a gasp of rain and fear. The bell kept ringing behind me, as though the lake itself were breathing. Halfway up the ridge, I slipped again and I landed hard. When I looked back, the lights had followed me onto land. Thank you, Jess. The shapes behind them moved in jerky motions. And then I saw the church fully in a flash of lightning. The water churned violently around it as if something massive were stirring below. And from the roiling darkness, something rose. A shape. It pulled itself up on the steeple, black water pouring from its limbs. For a moment, I thought maybe it was tangled driftwood, but then it lifted its head, and I saw the hollow where its face should have been. And then the bell tolled again. Then the thing let go of the steeple. It vanished beneath the water, dragging the lights down with it. The storm broke soon after. I made it back to the cabin just before dawn, soaked and shaking. The power had returned, but I could still hear that bell echoing faintly in my ears. When I tried to play back the field recorder, all I heard was static. But then beneath it, I heard faint, rhythmic tones, like a bell underwater. And that's the tale of the drowned bell. Thank you, Mace. Also, just some quick back history on that story. It may remind you of Lake Lanier because there is a history of flooded towns all over the country. But I would like to elaborate on that and state that most of the towns that were flooded for dams in our nation were towns founded by freed people of color who had finally gotten established on their feet, and then the government came in and flooded what they had built. So I just wanted to remind everybody of that. So Lake Lanier is not the only one. I bet if you look in your state, you will find a flooded town under a lake or a reservoir or a dam near where you live. And I would pretty much guarantee that if you looked up some stats on that place, it was probably established by freedmen who then built the town. So, yes, beautiful. So when I read that story, exactly just like Black Wall Street. So when I read that story, I do like to finish with some information. So just if you're interested, maybe give it a Goog in the areas you live and see if maybe you can maybe, you know, just put some remembrance on maybe a town that was flooded near where you live, so that we don't forget about them. Because yes, there were people who were stubborn and refused to leave and stayed. That wasn't very common, but it did in fact happen. So just, you know, take a moment to reflect on that sometimes these spooky stories do actually come with some pretty crazy history. Oh, thanks, Jade. Yeah, every once in a while, I can't help it, y'all. I have to spit some history. I actually had a lady in my Audify comments yesterday, or a couple days ago, say that I really like her voice, but it seems like she just always ends up being preachy in her stories. And it was about the chupacabra story. I was like, what the fuck? How was I preachy in that one? What? So I don't think that lady likes that I do it from the perspective of the cryptid. She probably doesn't like to think about how we're scary to things, but she can fuck off. So anyway, thanks, Michelle. Yeah, Spiker Mom, thanks. Let me know if you find anything. All right, you guys, I'm going to set up the next poll and I'll be right back. Welcome to the porch. Right, Matt? God forbid I tell these stories in a completely different perspective than they've been told for ever. And yes, I'm eating an Uncrustable right now because I didn't have dinner. Jade, it was because I end the story of the chupacabra saying that the thing that they warn their kids about is the human. And she clearly is one of those people that doesn't like to hear that things are scared of us. What kind? It was just a strawberry one. I couldn't find the ones, all the special ones you guys told me about. I think I have to go to Walmart for those. So, but I did find the raspberry ones, but that was the strawberry one. Oh, don't worry, lovely. I already deleted her comment. Yep, exactly, Jane. 100%. She looked like it in the picture too. Thank you, yeah. And I was like, you know what? That just means that I made her think. And she didn't like it. Because preachy means I made her think about something that she took as preachy because she's projecting something that I maybe made her sit and think about, how maybe things are scared of us and that not everything unknown is always scary and maybe it's actually scared of us. And if that's preachy, then sorry, lady, you needed to hear that shit anyway. And by sorry, I mean I'm not sorry at all. Couldn't be less sorry. You're absolutely right, Holly. Hi, Reverend. I know, Michelle. Like, fellow humans are the most scared of other humans. Like, that's not a groundbreaking, controversial idea. Like, women literally said they chose bear. Okay? We're scared of other humans. Men choose bear. I've asked dudes if they would rather, if they're in the woods in the middle of the night and they hear something, would they rather it be some random strange man, or would they rather it be a bear? And even men are like, the bear. Exactly. Because humans are scary. They're scary as shit. They're the scariest creatures. And I am one. Well, kind of. I play one on TV. The thing that scares me the most is people operate, a lot of people, especially a certain type of people, operate based off of ego and pride, which animals do not do. And that is dumb and scary and unpredictable and psychotic. So animals don't have egos. And that is the big, big, big difference. Okay, guys. No, cats don't have an ego. They just don't care. Like, they don't give a fuck. Like, I don't feel like they have an ego, but they do respect themselves. Like, they're not going to put up with shit, but that's different than having an ego. Like, not putting up with stuff is not the same as an ego. An ego is what makes dudes, like, kill people. An ego is what makes, like, crimes of passion. Exactly, Spiker Mom. Boundaries are not the same thing as an ego. An ego is like, I would say the only way that maybe cats a little bit, animals a little bit have it, is animals do experience jealousy. They experience jealousy because I've seen it firsthand. No, they don't. Wolves don't. They let the, like, have you ever seen the way a pack lines up? It has zero ego in a wolf pack. Have you ever seen the way they form the formation that wolves do in their packs? It's opposite of ego. It's on safety and care of everybody. But anyway, animals do get jealous. I will say that. But that might be kind of close to ego, because feeling like you possess somebody else is very egotistical. And my mom's two dogs, like, my mom got a new dog, and her older dog does not like it when I talk to the new dog. She gets super jealous. So dogs, I guess, do experience jealousy, but that is, I would say, the closest thing to ego is feeling like you have the right to possess another living thing is ego-based. Rochelle, yeah. Me too. My cat Alfie used to do that. My cat Alfie used to, like, get separation anxiety, and he'd look right at me and piss on my laundry while I'd stare in my eyes, because I got a job where I was working a lot of hours and he, like, missed me a lot. But again, that's not really ego. That's just love and wanting affection and attention. Ego's different. Ego isn't about the person you love at all. It's about you. And you want the person to make you feel good. And ego's totally different. Has nothing to do with being an asshole. Cats are assholes, but they don't do things really based off ego. Because ego doesn't have to do with loving the other person. Ego has to do with loving yourself. In the wrong ways. Okay, guys, the poll is ready. We have the Puckwudgies. We have the Deer Woman. We have the Salem Time Slip. We have the Door in the Water. And we have Magnolia House. And you can vote in the blue box in the top left-hand corner if you're on TikTok. And you can vote up to 50 times. And you can vote for more than one story. We have the Puckwudgies. We have the Deer Woman. We have the Salem Time Slip. We have the Door in the Water. And we have the Magnolia House. Who's it gonna be? Ready? You can vote in the blue box in the top left-hand corner. Jade, why did you do that? Why did you do that? Jade? Jade? Why'd you do that? You little shit. Well, Turtle Woman scariest is super subjective, so I couldn't really answer which one's the scariest. Kind of depends on which one you think is the scariest. Hi, Scarhead. Jade. And Lovely, you know that by telling them that, they're going to ask for that one, correct? Like you're just serving it up. Maybe let them decide. She said, oh, it's Tesla. I honestly think Maintenance Man is the scariest one. Because in case you guys forgot, her friend disappears at the end and they never catch the guy who pretended to be the Maintenance Man. Just saying. That one, to me, and people love Crawl Space, but let's be real. In my opinion, Maintenance Man is horrifying. Because I have lived a lot of rented places and we had maintenance men who literally have keys and access to where you live at all times. And no one would notice. Lovely from who? From who? Lovely. Real, like from who? Like people you know? So many people you know have had people living in their crawl space. All right, and the winner is... Yeah, way to go, Jade. Way to go. Curtis did not win. Curtis didn't win. All right, the winner is the Salem Time Slip. Send them to me, Lovely. I want to see. She sure did. I bet Lovely gave it a goog and went down a rabbit hole. And now she's convinced it happens like in every one of 5 houses. I love Lovely. She is Lovely. Wait, Lovely, are you, what's your sign? Are you a Libra? Are you a Libra or a Virgo? I can't stand Mr. Ballin. You're a Virgo. I knew it. I knew it. Knew you were a Virgo. Knew it. Because lots of my best friends are Virgos because we're very opposite, Sagittarius and Virgos, you guys are very tightly wound and you worry about everything. And then us Sagittarius, we literally don't worry about shit, and we don't think about much, and we don't have a lot of like we're not very emotional, so like we balance each other out really well because Virgos need my chill, and I need Virgos to be like, maybe you shouldn't do that incredibly reckless thing that's dangerous and by yourself. Like, so we balance each other well. Matt, you're a Virgo too. Yeah, because balance. Yeah, 100% Rochelle. Sag follows Goat Man into the woods. Bingo. Well, Robin, are you a December Sag? Because December Sages are a little more tightly wound than November ones. You guys are just a little bit more organized and a little bit more tightly wound. That's why I mentioned it in the story with Ange. Wanderlust is your sister, December Sag? Yeah, see, there's a difference. Because Cherokee Myth, my best friend, Chelsea, is a September Libra. Robin, I don't remember. I think it's one of the first few days in December. Libras also worry about everything, I feel like. I feel like Libras are very much like, it might just be my best friend. But I feel like, yeah, a lot of Libras, because my best friend's Libra, and I feel like she's always like thinking of like she's one of those people that like thinks that like, you know, if you go into this water, you get a bacteria up your urethra because she heard some sort of, but like she's also very much like that. That's why I asked Lovely if she was a Libra or Virgo. Yeah, I love September Libras. That's my best friend. Oh, well, you're an Aquarius, Wanderlust. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you there. All right, the winner is, yes, cautious, Turtle. That's exactly it. Cautious. Cautious. And I bring out the wild in her while she makes me a little more cautious. Cherokee, love you. Nice. I'm glad you came in and said hi. Miss you. Sweet dreams. All right, guys, the winner of the poll was the Salem time slip. And I'll be right back. And if you guys could do me a big favor, could you hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner? And there's a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow this beautiful porch of ours. And no, Sherry, she doesn't make me cautious. She tries to. She's the one that I had to text and be like, if I liberate this horse, is that a felony? And then she's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. So she's just like my voice of reason. And thanks, Spooky Cabins. And yes, that's a real scenario. That is an actual scenario. Like, it's a real, I should post the video. It's on my IG if you guys want to look. That's a real scenario. I almost, because here's the thing, it's not really stealing a horse if you just open the gate and you're like, dude, go, run, get the hell out. That's not stealing. That's just like, well, what she informed me is that's trespassing. So, but anyway. Be right back with the Salem time slip. Hi, Daniel-san. We love you. And yes, I know we're behind schedule for the news story. I didn't forget. Trust me, I will read it after this one, I promise. Perfect, Robin. Yes, Seashell, that is the book I read for my first 3 practice lives. Good luck, Lily. We'll see you soon. Good night, Cherokee. Sweet dreams. And I'll tell you right now, that book, not as scary as an adult. Like, Are You Afraid of the Dark still holds ground. That book, I'm not gonna lie. Once you like try to read them on a live, I was like, these are kind of dumb. Like, a lot of them were not even really scary. So I don't know if any of you guys have revisited it, but doesn't have the same punch it used to. But the movie was scary. They did a good job with the movie. Plus, Lana's on the soundtrack, so anything with Lana, yep. Sign me up. Oh, Mary added a UFO. Yay, Mary added a UFO. Yes, the pictures in the book were the scariest part. Once you reread the stories, I'm like, dude, these pictures really held the weight of this book. Because they just scared the shit out of all of us. But once you go back and read them, I'm like, these aren't even scary. The pictures are just scary. And the pictures are still scary. Hi, Jalen. All right, quick swig, and I'll be back with the Salem time slip. Yes, the power of the art, 100%. The scary stories to tell in the dark books, Becky. Becky, I love your name. Her name's Becky with the okay hair. Yeah, Robin, once you read them again, you realize how much weight those pictures held to our imaginations. Because we were the generation where we still had imaginations really like hardcore. So like those pictures really held the weight of the story. Because I reread them as an adult and I'm like, that's not that great. Yeah, that's an iconic name, Becky. Love it. And I bet your hair's more than just okay. The movie I'm talking about is the one they made for the book series Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. They made a more adult version movie of that, and it was good. It was scary. What's everybody's scariest story in that book? Because I'll tell you mine right now. The fucking scarecrow. I can't even remember his name, but I hate that story. Is still scary. I hate that story. That's the only one. The scarecrow one was so. That story is still scary. Don't like it. And I can't remember what his name was. But the name of the story was his name. It wasn't even called the Scarecrow. It was like his name. Yeah, it's the only one. Yep. That was the main scary one. Harold. There you go. Thank you. Thank you, Laura. Harold. And yeah. By the way, here's a fun joke. Why did the Scarecrow win so many awards? Because he was outstanding in his field. Good night, Lindy. Jen, if you say maple syrup, I swear to God. If you say maple syrup, I swear to God. Did Jade put you up to this joke? Oh, Millsy with the corn. Hi, user. Welcome back. In case you guys haven't noticed, I told Jade to never talk about maple flavored things or maple donuts again in the live. And now she is dropping random words just to make me think about them. Like this one, batter, oil. Earlier she put maple, bar. Then she put frosting. Go back and look at Jade's comments, y'all. She is secretly harassing me on the low. She's harassing me with these dessert words. Do you guys see what she's doing? She thinks she's slick. Well, hello, TJ. Welcome to the porch. Sit back and relax. I'm about to start a story. Hi, SM. Welcome in from Kenya. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Palace Society. This is the tale of the Salem time slip. Mace, that's not a swing. That is the gallows. Also, thank you to the Porch Pals who are writing keywords in the chat that help the AI categorize us that are not dessert words. That would be great. Thanks. Thanks, Jade. I've always been fascinated by history, by the stories of people who lived and died long before I was born. But I never imagined I would become one of those stories myself. Spooky Cabin said, chartreuse. What? That's the funniest keyword I've ever seen. This is the story of how I was thrust into the heart of one of the most terrifying periods in human history. The Salem witch trials. Hi, Snooty Patootie. It was a time of fear and paranoia, of accusations and executions. And for a brief, horrifying moment, I was there. Miss you too, Snooty. It happened on a rainy afternoon in Massachusetts. I was visiting Salem, wandering through its historic streets and museums, marveling at the sheer weight of history that hung in the air. My great-great-great-grandmother, Susanna, was actually one of the women accused of witchcraft in Salem. And I was eager to track down more information about her and to feel closer to the place where her story unfolded. The Witch Trials Memorial was particularly haunting. Stone benches lined the space, each engraved with the names of those who had been accused and executed. And as I stood there, the rain falling softly around me, I noticed something unusual beneath one of the benches. It was a small, ornate locket. It was unlike anything I had ever seen. Its surface adorned with delicate engravings of twisted vines and strange symbols. Something about it drew me in. Curious, I reached out to pick it up. The moment my fingers touched the locket, the world around me seemed to dissolve. The air grew heavy, pressing in on my chest, and a strange electric hum filled my ears. I felt a sensation like falling, though my feet never left the ground. My stomach lurched as reality seemed to fold in on itself. When the world came back into focus, I was no longer in the modern, tourist-filled town of Salem. The air was thick with the scent of wood smoke and damp earth. Voices echoed through the streets, raised and frantic, arguing. I was in Salem, but not the Salem I knew. This was Salem in 1692. The town was alive with activity. People dressed in simple dark clothing hurried through the streets. Their faces drawn tight with fear and suspicion. The buildings were smaller and rougher, their wooden frames weathered and uneven, and the atmosphere felt charged, like a storm about to break. I could feel the paranoia everywhere. It hung in the air heavy. I looked down at myself, and my modern clothes were gone. And in their place was a plain homespun dress, and my hair was tied back tightly in a bun. Somehow, I had become one of them. Panic surged through me. How long would I be here? How would I survive in a world where I didn't belong? As I stood there, trying to gather my thoughts, a woman approached me. She was older, her face lined with worry, her eyes darting nervously around the street. And she called me Susanna. In a low, urgent voice, she told me that I needed to come quickly. They were gathering at the meeting house. I hesitated, my heart pounding, and then I nodded. I didn't know who she was, but she clearly thought she knew me. So I followed her through the narrow streets, the sound of our footsteps echoing as my anxiety grew with every step. The meeting house was packed. Faces filled the room, pale and drawn tight with fear. At the front, a group of girls writhed and screamed, their voices shrill and piercing. The townspeople watched in horror, their expressions shifting between fear and anger. Whispers rippled through the room, talk of bewitchment, of the devil's work. A chill ran down my spine. I knew exactly what this was, and I knew what came next. The girls began pointing into the crowd, accusing people at random. Each accusation was met with gasps, shouts, and cries of outrage. Fear fed on itself, growing louder and more dangerous with every passing second. And then, one of the girls pointed directly at me. Her scream rang out as she accused me of witchcraft. The room erupted into chaos. People turned toward me, their faces twisted with fear and rage. I backed away, my heart hammering in my chest. But there was nowhere to go. Hands grabbed me rough and unyielding, and they dragged me to the front of the room as voices shouted demands for a confession. I struggled, but it was useless, and they threw me into a small, dark cell, the door slamming shut behind me. The air was thick with the smell of damp earth and decay, and the only light came from a small barred window high above, barely illuminating the space. I don't know how long I sat there, trembling in the darkness. Time felt distorted, stretching endlessly. Eventually, the door creaked open. A tall, thin man stepped inside. His face was pale and drawn, his eyes cold and calculating. And he told me that I stand accused of witchcraft. And he asked me if I would confess. I shook my head, my voice trembling as I denied the accusations. He studied me for a long moment, and then he nodded and left, the door slamming behind him. I don't know how long I remained in that cell. It felt like days. They brought me food and water, but no one spoke to me. I could hear screams echoing through the building, the cries of others who had been accused. And with every sound, I knew that my time was running out. And then one night, I heard footsteps, slow and deliberate. The door opened again and the man returned. He told me that it was time. They dragged me into the night. The air was thick with smoke and fear. Voices buzzed with anger and anticipation as they led me to the gallows, the noose hanging ominously beneath the moonlight. They asked if I had any last words, and as my heart pounded, I scanned the crowd, and I saw her, the woman who had brought me to the meeting house. She stood at the edge of the crowd, her face pale and tears streaming down her cheeks. I whispered for her to help me. She hesitated, and then she stepped forward. Her voice rang out through the night as she declared my innocence. The crowd erupted, turning on her, accusing her of being bewitched, of being under my spell. And chaos exploded. People shouted and started shoving. Fear spiraled out of control. I don't know how I escaped. Maybe it was the confusion. Maybe it was her courage. All I know is that I broke free and I ran. I ran through the dark streets until my legs gave out and I collapsed, gasping for breath. And when I looked up, I was back in modern-day Salem. The rain fell softly and the memorial stood silent, and the locket was still clutched tightly in my hand. I never told anyone what happened. How could I? But I still think about that courageous woman, the one who stood up for me at the gallows. And I wonder who she was. And I wonder if she survived Salem. I kept the locket. And sometimes I wonder if one day I'll go back again and try to save her. Oh my God, Matt, I love that joke. Air John Proctor's. I love that. And just to give you guys a little bit of background on that story is in fact a nod to my great-great-great-grandmother. That part is true. She was named Susanna, and she was accused of witchcraft in 1692 in Beverly, Massachusetts, which was a suburb of Salem. And that's a nod to her because she is on record of being shackled all winter, writing a letter requesting that if they didn't let them out before spring, she would do it herself. First of all, for a woman to be able to write back then was insane. Second of all, that's a great mind fuck to be like, okay, if they really think I'm a witch, I'll tell them that you don't let me out, I'll do it myself. Mwah. Right? Which is amazing. And then here's the best part of the story. Here's the twist. She was never tried or executed because guess what? She disappeared. That's right. There is no record of what happened to her after she wrote that letter telling them that if they didn't let her out, she'd do it herself. And she was not tried or executed because they couldn't find her. So that is my nod to her, because the lady in the story, if you notice, called me Susanna. And then what'd she do when she was about to be hung? She time jumped. And where did I time jump to? Now. Mwah. And that's why I say I'm 700 years old. It's also why I don't like slow jazz saxophone. Brittany, thank you. My secret is sucking the life force out of men. That's my beauty secret. Like, you know how the ladies from Hocus Pocus did it to kids? No. I do it to men. Robin, your mind went the wrong way. Because everybody knows witches don't do it like that. Hello, have you seen Hocus Pocus? Matt said, so after hearing that, I think I'll be going. Matt always makes me laugh. You're just in time, Lily. Yep, Mace. Mace, you got it. I mean, that's kind of what sirens do, you guys. Hello. Kind of a thing. Forever. Thanks, Matt. I appreciate it. New story dance, Rochelle. I want to see what that dance looks like. All right, you guys. I'm going to set up the new story. And if you guys could please do me a big favor and hit that share arrow. There's a little yellow circle. Brian said I would maybe volunteer. There's a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs and helps us grow this beautiful porch of ours. Hi, CJ. Also, sharing to your stories and sharing with your friends and tapping are all so helpful and so appreciated. And thank you guys so far for all the beautiful gifts you've given me. And I'll be right back with a new story. So grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and relax, and welcome to the porch. Hello, Joanne. Spooky cabin, vamoose. I love that word, vamoose. I haven't heard that word in so long, vamoose. That's like scram. Yes, Kim, tell your son that my name is Suzanne and I'm actually from 1692. Hi, Andrew. And here's a fun fact. In the 1970s, people used to call me Anne. Cholina, thank you for the follow and welcome to the porch. Matt, you're so weird. Hi, Code Red. Oh, thanks, Michelle. You're so sweet. I'm so glad you came back. I'm glad you're joining us. New porch pal alert. Oh, wait. I have to adjust it on TikTok. Just like you couldn't see the baby, you guys can't see the sides of the tent. That's the creepy part, is the sides of the tent. Jade, can you see the sides of the tent? Oops. Is that good? Because I feel like you need to feel like you're in the tent. These details matter to me. I'm a very OCD creative. And I have a vision for these things. Okay. Is that better? Okay. Thank you, Jane. I need you to address you are not alive in this time. Lovely. I just told, how many times have I tell you I'm 700 years old? And I time jumped here, and my name is Suzanne, and that's why I said in the 70s people used to call me Anne. Keep up. Hello, Loki. Welcome back. Yeah, I am old as hell. I'm tired. Your girl is tired. Like, I have just heard it all and seen it. Your girl's tired. She's tired. So I'm not scared of cryptids. Because they're just as old as me. Aw, thanks, Coral. Shadow, that's literally the last thing I need. Quite literally, like I'm pretty sure that's the last thing I need. Code Red, thank you for the populars. Chase, thank you for the follow and welcome to the porch. Hi, Tolstoy. I don't know, Holly. I don't know. Did you have that many people in your birthing room? I feel so sorry for you guys that see a tent and think it's a birth canal. I hope to never have that happen to my brain. Because, nope, just looks like a tent to me. You guys always try to make the tents turn into genitalia. And nope, not any of those things. It's a tent. It's green, for God's sakes. It's green. Jade said, my canal could never. Way to ruin the new pictures, guys. Way to ruin the new picture. That'll do it. That'll do it. Mad. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of Booger Hollow. And just to clarify Appalachian slang, a booger is actually where the term the boogeyman came from. And a booger is the same thing as a haint. And that's a spooky spook. A booger. Call them boogers. So just so you guys know, it is not about stuff that comes out of your nose. A booger. It is hole. It's called booger hole. It's a hollow, but it is booger hole. It goes by both names. So anyway, a booger. Before we called the things out of our noses boogers, it was a term for a spook, a haint, just like boogeyman. So, just so you guys know, it is not boogers. It's the old school word before. They probably decided to call boogers in our nose boogers after that because they're so gross and weird and annoying. That honestly, and I did say haint. That means a haunt. That means a ghost, a spook. Sometimes my Appalachian comes out. Most people have never heard of Booger Hole, West Virginia. The name sounds like something made up to scare children. But it was a real settlement hidden deep in the mountains of Clay County. The community is long gone now. The roads faded away. The houses collapsed. The forest swallowed almost everything that remained. But the stories never disappeared. Old local accounts talk about murders, feuds, vigilante justice, disappearances, and families who seem to vanish into the mountains. Kim. Some people claim the hollow is haunted by the original settlers. I didn't slap, I muted first, Justin. Others insist there are still descendants living deep in the woods who don't want outsiders around. I didn't know what to believe. I only knew that the area allowed primitive backcountry camping and that I had secured permits for myself and 2 friends for a 3-day weekend. The plan was simple. Camp Friday, explore Saturday, leave Sunday. It should have been an easy, peaceful outing. Instead, it became one of the most terrifying weekends of my life. The first sign something was wrong happened less than an hour after we arrived. We'd just finished up setting up camp beside a narrow creek running through the hollow. The clearing wasn't large, but it was perfect for 3 tents and a fire. Dense forests surrounded us on all sides. I was unpacking supplies when I noticed someone standing on the ridge above camp. At first, I thought it was just another hiker. But then I realized they were just standing there, watching us. Not moving, not hiking. Just observing. The figure was tall and painfully thin, and the clothing looked old-fashioned, almost like work clothes from another era. The person stood among the trees staring directly at us. Finally, I just decided to wave at them. The moment I did, they just stepped behind a tree and disappeared. Okay, weirdo. About 30 minutes later, we heard someone whistle from the woods. Not a bird. This was a human whistle. Then another whistle answered from somewhere further up the mountain. And then another. The whistles moved through the forest around us. One ridge, another ridge, then somewhere behind camp. I remember a knot forming in my stomach because it felt like people were communicating with each other about us. We continued setting up camp anyway. We had permits. We weren't trespassing. Whoever these dudes were, they weren't going to intimidate us into leaving. We were staying. By sunset, we regretted that decision. The first visitor walked into camp just as darkness settled over the hollow. He didn't emerge cautiously, he just walked directly out of the trees as if he belonged there. The man looked to be in his 60s. His clothes were filthy and his beard reached nearly to his chest. Good night, CJ. And his eyes never blinked. Not once. The man slowly looked over every piece of gear we owned, every cooler, every tent, every backpack. And then his gaze settled on me. He said nothing, but the expression on his face was resentment. The same kind of resentment someone carries for years. So, I introduced myself and I told him that we had permits and we planned to leave Sunday. He listened without reacting. And then he introduced himself as Bishop Miller. And then he said something that made the hair on my arm stand up. He told us that the families didn't want us there. Not the locals, not landowners, just the families. As if everyone should know who he meant. He stared at our campfire for several seconds before turning around and just walking back into the woods. No goodbye, no explanation, just gone. Okay. Around midnight, we realized that one of our coolers had vanished. Not misplaced, gone. Nowhere to be found within our campsite. We spent nearly an hour searching for it. Eventually, we found it sitting upright in the middle of the creek nearly 100 yards downstream. All of the food inside had been removed. Somebody had carried the cooler away while our backs were turned as we sat around the fire. None of us heard or saw anything. And that realization was horrifying, that someone had entered camp without any of us noticing. The next morning, things became worse. Fresh footprints covered the muddy ground around our tents. And it wasn't just 1 or 2 sets. It looked like at least 6 or 7 different people had walked through our camp while we slept. And one set led directly to my tent, and the prints stopped inches from where my head had been. I couldn't stop staring at them. Someone had stood there watching me sleep. That afternoon, we explored the remains of the old settlement. Most structures had collapsed decades ago. A few stone chimneys still stood among the trees. Near one foundation, we found something strange. Names carved into weathered wood. Not initials. Full names. Maddox, Harper, Tanner, and Bishop Miller. The carvings appeared old. Very old. But Bishop was the name of the old man that came to our campsite. We photographed them and we continued hiking. As evening approached, we returned to camp, and our tents had been opened. Nothing valuable was stolen. Instead, our belongings had been rearranged. Sleeping bags moved, clothes stacked in piles, backpacks emptied. Personal items placed neatly around the fire circle. Spiker Mom. People had been inside our camp again. People who wanted us to know they could come and go whenever they pleased. That night, shortly after dark, figures appeared beyond the firelight. Not shadows, not glimpses, actual people. At least 8 of them, men, women, children, standing among the trees, watching us. The same filthy clothes, the same hollow expressions. None of them spoke. They simply stared. Whenever we approached or tried to speak to them, they retreated deeper into the woods. Whenever we returned to camp, they came closer again. Hour after hour. The feeling was unbearable. The hollow no longer felt like wilderness. It felt like we had camped in the middle of someone's village. Robin. Justin. Around midnight, I woke to movement outside my tent. Heavy footsteps. Human footsteps. I opened the tent flap and I froze. A woman stood beside the fire pit. Moonlight illuminated her face. Her hair hung to her waist and mud covered her bare feet. She wasn't watching the woods. She wasn't watching my tent. She was watching me. For several seconds, neither of us moved. Thank you, Dusty. Thank you so much. And then she smiled. And not a friendly smile. A menacing smile. I scrambled out of the tent and I yelled at her to leave us alone. And the woman just turned slowly and walked calmly back into the darkness. The others woke when they heard me yelling, and we shined our inadequate flashlights into the woods, and we saw nothing. By dawn, none of us wanted to stay another night, but we were stubborn. We had paid for permits, and we had every right to be there. These weirdos weren't going to scare us off. So, we stayed. The final night became a siege. The people stopped hiding and they just walked openly around camp. They stood between the trees. They watched from the creek bank. Several times, they approached close enough for us to clearly see their faces. One old man repeatedly circled camp carrying an antique lantern. Another sat on a fallen log for nearly an hour, just smiling a creepy smile and staring directly at us. Near midnight, one of them threw our firewood into the creek. And then someone else dragged one of our folding chairs into the woods. The harassment never stopped. Every time we recovered another item, another one disappeared. Sleep became impossible, and the fear became constant. Brittany. These people seemed determined to drive us away. Brittany said, exactly how much are these permits? Just before dawn on Sunday, everything changed. The entire group appeared together. More than 20 people stood among the fog, drifting through the hollow. Women, children, men, entire families, watching silently from the trees. For several minutes, nobody moved. Then the rising sun touched the ridge. The fog shifted and every single person disappeared. One moment they were there and the next, the forest stood empty. We packed immediately. We were done. And as we hiked out, we took a different trail that followed an old wagon road through the woods. About an hour later, we discovered a cemetery. The graveyard sat atop a small hill overlooking the hollow. Many of the gravestones had fallen. Others leaned at odd angles. But enough remained legible to read. I stopped at the first stone. and the name made my stomach drop. Bishop Miller, Maddox Miller, Harper Miller, Tanner Miller. This was the man that came to our camp, and his family. And the same names that had been carved into that abandoned structure. These were the names of the people we had seen all weekend. Every grave belonged to someone who died between the 1880s and the early 1900s. Entire families, rows of them, parents, children, grandparents. The deeper we walked into the cemetery, the faces I remembered from the woods seemed to attach themselves to the names. The old lantern man, the woman beside my tent. Name after name, they were all buried there. We left without speaking. And I still don't know what happened in Booger Hole. Maybe we spent an entire weekend being terrorized by an isolated group of feral mountain people protecting their territory. Or maybe the stories about the Hollow are true. Maybe the original families have never really left. All I know is this. The man who first warned us told us the families didn't want us there. And at the time, I thought he meant living families. But now, I'm not so sure. And that's the tale of Booger Hollow. Exactly, Matt. I told y'all get. Booger Hollow. And that is the news story of the week. Hope you guys liked it. Mace, thank you for the beautiful rose. And Rich, thank you for the hand hearts. Tracy, thank you for the love you so much. Welcome in, Trace. I miss you. Aw, thanks, Thay. And yes, the cemetery wasn't a random cemetery thing. It was because where we camped was an old settlement, and that was like the cemetery for the settlement. And there are actually a lot of those scattered throughout Appalachia. Literally, just like unmarked cemeteries like that. And that's the thing, like they're everywhere. Missed you too, Tracy. Yeah, a porchy. Me too. All right, and you guys know what time it is. Oh, let me get the porch back. All right, it is grilled cheese time. And if you are new here, welcome in. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. Vibe Daddy, thank you so much for the galaxy. Thank you for helping me with my gallery. Thank you. And I'm here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. I do write and record all these stories myself. And they are available on my YT channel as well as all the podcast streaming sites. Just look for Porch Lore. And do you guys hear that? Merlin is at the door because he's so smart. He knows when I say grilled cheese time that that's the last story of the night and he can come in and get cuddles. Why is he so freaking cute and smart? Hi, Merlin. Wavy. My God, he's so cute. I'm obsessed with him. He's so smart and funny. Okay, I will be right back with the tale of the night shift at Sycamore Diner. Hi, Brittany. Yeah, how you doing? Merlin is my cat, by the way. Just kidding, Merlin's my husband. And I lock him out. And then he knows when he hears grilled cheese time that if he brings me a grilled cheese, he might get some cuddles after the live's over. So, yeah, Merlin's my husband. My husband also wears a little bell around his neck so I can hear him coming. And so I can find him when he hides from me. Forever Young, I love that. I'm going to let in Merlin. I'll be right back, you guys. Okay, so Mr. Jinglebutt is in here and he's already looking like he's gonna try to jump on on top of everything. He's like trying to jump on my computer. You can hear him jingling, right? Hi, Wavy, lay down. Merlin, lay down. Just lay down. Hi. He's so cute. Yeah, he does. He always chugs water every time he comes in here. Come on, Wavy. He's gonna try to jump up here. Watch. Come on. Come on. You got it, Merlin. Hey, come on. You can sit up here with me for the last story. Come on. Come on. Give me a second, guys. Oh, Rich, that's a good one. That's a Southernism. I'm more nervous than a long-tailed cat surrounded by rocking chairs. Hi, Skater. Welcome back. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the night shift at Sycamore Diner. I'm not usually the kind of person who pulls over on back roads at night. Not unless I absolutely have to. But that night, something about the storm, the long drive, and that growling pit in my stomach convinced me otherwise. I was hungry. It was late October, and I was headed back to campus after a weekend visit with my friends in North Carolina. I had a midterm on Monday, and my plan had been to drive straight through. 5 hours, no stops. But then came the rain. One of those cold, slanted, whispery rains that creeps into your bones and makes the windshield wipers sound like a heartbeat. I had taken the wrong exit trying to bypass traffic, and I ended up on a 2-lane back road. Surrounded by nothing but pine trees and power lines. Did you guys just hear that? And that's when I saw the neon sign. Did you guys hear him? Merlin. He's trying to chime in. Hi, Merlin. SYCAMRE Diner. The O in Sycamore was flickering like it hadn't worked right in years. But the rest was lit up in a cherry red neon. A tiny beacon in the middle of nowhere. I figured I'd grab a quick bite, maybe some coffee, check my map, and get back on the highway. But I should have just kept driving. I should have known something was off the second I stepped inside. The bell over the door jingled, but not like a normal bell. It made this sharp metallic ping that echoed longer than it should have. The air inside was warm, almost too warm, and it smelled like grilled onions and pancake syrup. The place looked like it had been yanked straight from 1957. Checkerboard floor, red vinyl booths, a long counter with spinning stools, even a jukebox in the corner that looked like it hadn't worked in decades. And the people, they all stopped and looked at me the second I walked in. Not in a rude way, just quiet. Like they weren't expecting me. Like I had walked into the middle of a sentence that no one wanted to finish. A waitress, tall, with a beehive hairdo and a light blue uniform, smiled and waved me over. "You get caught in the rain, sweetheart." She said, handing me a laminated menu. I nodded, still trying to shake off that weird feeling. Yeah, the highway's a mess. She chuckled and patted my shoulder. Well, you're safe here. Sycamore's always open for travelers. I sat down at a corner booth, and the vinyl creaked. I remember the jukebox shifted songs by itself and started playing some slow doo-wop ballad that I didn't recognize. I looked around and everyone looked normal. Sort of. There was a trucker with a thick gray beard drinking coffee at the counter. A young couple whispering to each other in a booth by the jukebox. And an older woman stirring tea like she was lost in thought. But they all had the same look in their eyes, like they were there but also somewhere else. Like they were watching me out of the corner of their eyes even when they were looking down. The waitress came back with coffee. Strong, hot, and surprisingly good. And I ordered a grilled cheese with fries. Simple, safe. She wrote it down with one of those clicky pens and said, "Don't worry, it's on the house tonight." And that was my second red flag. No diner just gives food away. While I waited, I took out my phone to check the map. And there was no signal, and I mean nothing. No bars, no Wi-Fi, not even GPS, just a blank screen with a spinning wheel. I glanced out the foggy window, and the storm was still going. But now the wind had picked up, and I could see the power lines swaying like jump ropes in the dark. But the diner stayed perfectly lit. Not even a flicker. The food came fast. Too fast, like under 5 minutes. but it looked amazing. Golden bread, gooey cheese, crispy fries with a little metal cup of ketchup on the side. I took a bite. Delicious. I mean, I've eaten at a lot of diners, greasy spoons, college joints, and roadside shacks, but this was hands down the best grilled cheese I've ever had. The fries were perfect, and the coffee never ran out. Every time I took a sip, it was somehow full again. I was halfway through the sandwich when the trucker got up to leave. He walked right past my table, nodded once and whispered, "Don't stay past midnight." That was all he said. What? But he was already out the door. The waitress gave me a tight smile and walked over collecting his empty mug. Old Earl, he's always saying weird stuff, just ignore him. But I couldn't. Something about his voice stuck with me. Something about the way he looked at me. Not like I was in danger, or not like I was a customer, but like I was in danger. I checked the clock over the register. 11:42. I figured I had just enough time to finish my fries, grab the check, and head out. I still had at least 3 hours left on the road. When I stood up, the lights flickered, just once, and then again. And then everything in the diner stopped moving. The couple by the jukebox froze mid-sentence. The woman with the tea stopped stirring, her spoon hanging in mid-air. The waitress, her hand reached out for a mug, just stopped. Like someone hit pause on the entire scene. I took a step back and the jukebox buzzed, glitched, and restarted a new track. I could still move, but no one else could. And then I heard it. No music, not a storm, a voice. Not coming from anyone I could see. Just a whisper that seemed to echo from the walls themselves. I backed toward the door, my heart hammering in my chest. I turned the knob. Locked. Of course it was locked. I tried the windows, but they were sealed shut. I started banging on the glass and shouting, but no one was outside. Just wind and rain and that flickering red sign. SYCAMRE. I turned back toward the dining room, and everyone was gone. Not frozen anymore, just gone. The booths were empty. No plates, no crumbs, no mugs. No sign that anyone had even been there. Except for my plate. Still warm and still half-eaten. And then I saw the waitress. She was standing by the kitchen doors, her silhouette backlit by flickering fluorescent light. Her face was wrong. The same smile, but her eyes were empty, black and endless, like someone had painted over them. "You shouldn't be here, honey," she said in that same cheerful voice. "Not yet." I stumbled back, knocking over a chair as she took one slow step toward me. "The others, they were waiting, but you just wandered in." She raised a hand, and the walls began to shimmer. Literally shimmer. Like heat waves on asphalt. The checkered floor rippled, and the red booths started to fade, becoming outlines and then shadows and then nothing. And then I saw it, underneath the illusion. Charred wood, cracked tile, broken beams, and black soot. Like the diner had burned down long ago. I ran. I don't even remember how I got out. 1 second I was inside, and the next I was on the side of the road, soaked to the bone and gasping for air. My car was still there, parked on gravel that didn't even look like a lot anymore. Just weeds and puddles. No neon sign. No glowing windows, just nothing. I drove back to campus that night in silence. No music. No Porch Lore podcast. I kept glancing in the rearview mirror, half expecting to see that red neon flicker back to life. I didn't tell anyone. Not for weeks. Not until I finally looked up Sycamore Diner on a local history site, and I found it. It burned to the ground in 1972. A gas leak. The whole place went up at midnight, and everyone inside was killed. 5 patrons, a waitress, and a cook. The photo in the article? The same checkerboard floor, the same red booths, the same neon sign. SYCAMORE. And in the corner of the photo, that same waitress, smiling. I never took that back road again. I don't even drive at night anymore if I can help it. And every time I see a neon diner sign, something in me flinches just a little. Because I know I was there. And I know I wasn't supposed to be. But the part that keeps me up sometimes, the part that really makes my stomach turn, that was the best damn grilled cheese I've ever had. And I didn't even pay for it. And that's the tale of the night shift at Sycamore Diner. And with that, I will say good night, Porch Pals. I love you guys so much. I really enjoy spending my evenings with you guys. Thank you, Mace. Good night, Kim. And I will see you guys again tomorrow at the same time, same place, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I hope you guys get some good sleep. And if you aren't able to fall asleep, don't worry. Head on over to my YT channel. Good night, Brittany. Good night, Spiker Mom. Yeah, it was a great night. Thanks for being here. Feel free to head on over to my YT channel where all these stories are available on a playlist called Bedtime Stories. And you can hit shuffle or loop and you'll probably be out by the second story, to be honest. But I hope you guys all get some wonderful sleep. And don't forget, stay spooky. Yay, Rochelle. I'll see you over there. Stay spooky. Good night, Sparkle Tree. Good night. Good night, Merlin Grando. Your name is Merlin. That's my cat's name. Good night. Sweet dreams. You guys, somebody named Merlin just said goodnight on YT, and I feel like, why did Merlin get a YT channel and go over there to tell me goodnight? Listen to him. Hi, Merlin. Hey, what are you doing? Merlin. You guys hear him? Good night, everybody.